So I am going to call the meeting to order and ask for a motion to have a temporary chair.
Move to have a temporary chair, and I nominate Jordan.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we're gonna have, so Jordan's gonna be the temporary chair for tonight and Denise will be back. Hi. All right, Jordan.
Does anybody have any edits to the agenda?
I might, when we're talking about the capital improvement fund, I want to talk about possibly adding another 100,000 to that for a pole barn. In addition to the salt shed, yeah. And that's it.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, the agenda as edited, yeah.
Motion to approve the agenda as written and amended.
Second.
You can't.
I'm looking for one.
You were doing, I'm like, what are you doing?
All in favor?
I mean, you can, but you don't have
I
to.
wasn't.
You don't have to. All right, so I don't see Kevin Geiger yet, so I guess we'll,
Move the
Cecil's
Cecil.
not
and Cecil's not here yet, so
Move the public comment.
sure.
Public comment?
Is there anybody online who wants to do a public comment since we're jumping ahead here a bit?
I'm here to hear Kevin's discussion
Yeah,
about the
Us too.
1B. So
Yeah, I don't know where he is, so we'll see. He confirmed my email with the agenda, so I don't know.
No comments online? You all set?
No public comment. Okay.
So into the budget
All
information.
right. We will do the budget informational then. I put town reports in your packets and there's town reports here, so if somebody wants one. So that's what we'll do is I'll go over the budget summary and then answer any questions. So the proposed fiscal year budget of 26-27 is $2,796.51. That's the amount to be raised by taxes. It's an increase of 2.09% over last year, or 84 cents on the tax rate. Select Board has taken a little bit of a different approach this year by including all human service appropriations into the budget, so they'll not be separate line items on the warning. Some changes in the budget this year: a $10,000 increase in salt due to the rapid rise in cost, which is a good thing we did that considering there's a salt shortage this year. So there's a reduction in our contribution to our share of FEMA damages, which is what's labeled as the ERAF under our highway budget. $25,000 increase to our gravel budget, $5,000 increase to our capital fire equipment fund, and a $7,800 increase to law enforcement budget to have Windsor County Sheriff's Office increase their patrol hours from 36 hours per week to 38 hours per week. In 2026, we will receive our last payment from the town of Royalton for our share of the transfer station. That's a $54,560 revenue that will be greatly missed. In order to counteract this loss, we have reduced the appropriation to the capital improvement fund by $27,280, and our plan is to do that again in FY 27-28 budget as well. We feel comfortable doing that as the current capital improvement fund has over $330,000 in it. And you can see what all the capital funds have in another page in the report. The other capital funds that had funding reduced again this year were the Recreation Facility Improvement Fund and the Conservation Fund. The Recreation Facility Improvement Fund has over $74,000 available for use, repairs, or grant matches. Without a planned project to utilize these funds, the Select Board's not planning on an appropriation to that fund this fiscal year. The Select Board is waiting for the Planning Commission to do a survey for updating the town plan the next year or so. One of the questions will be geared towards finding out what the current residents would like to see for improvements at the rec area. Once a plan for a specific project is in place, the Select Board will restart appropriations as the budget allows. The Conservation Fund has over $11,000 in it. So the select boards reduced their request from 2,500 to 1,500 again this year. There's a $10,000 increase in human service appropriation requests this year. The increases are to Central Vermont Council on Aging, Bethel Youth Sports, Orange County Parent Child Center, the Art Bus, and the Health Hub. The Bethel Library and Bethel Food Shelf are in the budget for 10% less than what they requested. The select board felt since the library has $300,000 in endowment funds and the ability to fundraise, they could fundraise to $3,500 difference. They also felt since the Bethel Food Shelf has over a year's worth of expenses in reserve funds, they could fundraise their $3,000 difference. The main thing we need to focus on are the future year's budgets and expenses. There are 3 articles on the warning to request transfer money from the undesignated fund balance. These are available reserve funds to purchase a new grader. Ours is 20 years old and needs work again. A containment unit for filling air bottles at the fire station. This is a requirement from our insurance company to prevent serious injury. That's utilized when they're refilling their air bottles for their self-contained breathing apparatus. And more money, we need a little bit more money to outfit the new fire truck that will be arriving hopefully in March of this year. Hoses, nozzles, etc. To keep, us obviously and firefighters safe, there's no way for us to budget responsibly for these purchases. With the increase in prices of equipment, we're unable to save enough money to pay for everything we need. So these 3 purchases, if approved, will come out of a undesignated fund balance or a surplus. They're not going to raise taxes. This is a one-time transfer request this year and for those 3 things. In 2026, we expect to hold a bond vote for a new town garage. If you have visited our garage, you'd know the building has definitely outlived its intended lifespan. It's a pre-engineered metal building that was built around 1973. It also has a wood frame addition that has significant roof leaks, moldy and failing insulation, and falling because it's actually falling out of the ceiling on the ground, and numerous other issues. For a 53-year-old building, it served Bethel well. The cost of a new metal building is yet to be determined, but we're hoping to build for around 1.5 to 1.8 million. The new building will go in the same location. We'll reuse our sewer system, water connection, and our newly installed above-ground fuel tank. The underground tank was removed in 2025. So besides a desperate need for new garage, we feel the timing is right because in 2028, we'll make our last bond payment on the Church Street Bridge. And in 2031, we'll make our last payment on remodeling the town hall. While these 2 payments will not cover the full amount of a new bond payment, they will help offset the payment by over $55,000. We'll be hiring a contractor in 2026 to help us move forward with the design, permitting, and pricing, and there'll be more information to come as we move forward, with this much needed project. There'll be another water project, most likely in 2027. We currently anticipate that project to be around $1 million. The project will take place between the bottom of Christian Hill and Dandelion Acres on Route 107. There's approximately 1,600 feet of existing galvanized water line that needs to be replaced. This project would also include an estimated 15 new services. We're working with the state of Vermont Drinking Water Division to qualify for some galvanized lead subsidy to reduce the amount of the bond. But kind of too early right yet to know how that's going to go. It has gone our favor in the past, so we're hoping for the same. Over the last 5 years, Bethel has received over $3,260,473 in grants. This does not include FEMA money or the forgiveness provided to us by the state for our water projects. At this time, grants are our best source of non-tax revenue. Some grants require matching funds, but generally 10 to 20%. The proposed 2.8 increase over last year includes work planned for the future and still includes over $100,000 in appropriations to 20 human services organizations, not including WARPA. Since local tax revenue makes up 84% of our revenues, every additional increased appropriation comes at a cost to everyone who lives in Bethel. The hardest hit are those with fixed or lower incomes. While the select board and town manager realize the value nonprofits serve in our community, we're asking that individuals with the means to do so support these agencies with personal contributions rather than leveraging the municipality's ability to levy taxes on everyone. We recognize the spirit of compassion that has driven these appropriations in the past, and we ask people of Bethel to consider their struggling neighbors before increasing appropriations that are not infrastructure related. To quantify this point, $100,000 a year would be enough to cover an annual 30-year bond payment for 1.7 million to build a new town garage. So that's the budget summary that I'll be giving at town meeting. Obviously, if you have any specific questions about the budget, I'm happy to answer any of those. As you wish. Joe, do you have any questions about the budget? We just have one visitor in the audience, so we'll check it with Joe first, but anybody online have a question about the budget?
I do. Hi
Sure.
there.
Hi, Joanne.
So just clarification, when the motion is made to vote on the budget, can the amount be amended from the floor, either an increase or a decrease, and voted on at town meeting?
Not in the whole. It can adjust it line by line. Like say you wanted to, let me think about something here for a second. Maybe you want to increase the diesel in the town garage from whatever we've budgeted, say 50,000 to 75. You have to make the motion, or the amendment you have to make is per line item. You can't do the whole budget at once. You can't just say add $50,000 to the budget. It'll be line by line.
Okay, so somebody would have to specify exactly where they would want more money added or more money taken off. Is that correct?
Yep, that's what the statute is. Yep.
Okay, that's what the
It's a
statute
little
is.
funky because it's different than school budget.
Yeah, that's
right.
why I wanted to make sure I understood, because
Yeah.
of
Because
course-
school budget, you can do the whole enchilada, but not so much here. So yeah.
Right, and then in the school budget, then it's up to the school directors to decide where to either save or spend that money.
Yeah,
But so again, in the town, it's got to be specified.
yep, exactly. Yeah. It was one of those things I actually had to reread the statute because we haven't done it in a while.
Okay.
So
Okay, and I'm just gonna, I think I've said this before at some of these meetings, and I'll just be brief. I do think, I appreciate the comments that you included about those who are able to support the services, these human service appropriations. I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that we have people in our town who are, who struggle to pay. But I'd like to just balance that with the fact that a town is more than roads and sewer lines and water pipes. It's libraries and historical societies and active arts programs and kids playing sports at the rec center. That's what all makes a community vital and inviting to people who are looking to move to this area. So again, I appreciate the fact that we have to balance it, but it is a balance. And I would hate to see the human services things kind of sacrificed, because I think it is a statement of town values. And in the past, when the town has overwhelmingly unanimously supported an increase to a library fund, let's say a couple of years ago, that's telling you folks what is important to the community. So again, just my 2 cents on that. And then
we don't disagree, Joanne. It's just a matter of we're trying to put through the budget. And obviously I'm also the delinquent tax collector. So it's also, I see a different side of it that not everybody does see. And
sure.
We're not passing judgment on the right or wrong of anything. We're just trying to do the functional infrastructure need and balance. And it's a balance, just like, so,
and
that's why the budget goes to the voters. In the end, they decide. We put forward what we feel is a responsible budget, and then they do what they do, right?
And again, that's the voters let the select board know their sentiments. That's a democracy, right? So again, that's I appreciate the balance. That's my 2 cents. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Jean, you have your hand up.
I do, also thinking about those 2 items. Is it, if the, first of all, I believe if the library is a true endowment, that is, those are funds that are not to be expended. It is the interest on those funds that is to be expended, not the corpus of the endowment. So if that is an endowment, it is, they don't have however much money to be able to spend to replace that $3,500 that they requested. That is a piece of information that I would hope that I could have a clear answer on before the town meeting, because I would be ready to restore that if I'm in fact correct. The other one, the food shelf, is similarly, their request was made based on their anticipated expenses. And is it possible in a motion to restore that, to add an if needed to that motion, so that if the motion could be to restore that $3,500 if needed, and not to necessarily just write them a check at the beginning of the year. That's a process question that I have.
So the first
Okay.
question
Yeah,
is, the library spent down their endowment
Yeah.
previously,
and that may not be the word we want, is endowment.
but that fund got spent down significantly. So now they're having the trouble. And then for the past 5 years, they've been asked to come up with a plan, what the library wants to be, what it should look like, et cetera, and we've lacked to get that. So
Then it may
hoping next year
not.
that we get that plan so that we can move forward with, does the library need more money? What do we need to do to get to that point?
Yeah, and also in their fund rate, they reduced their amount of fundraising. So I think the select board, we didn't feel that it was egregious to ask them to fundraise, $3,000. So endowment may not be the proper word. You'd have to ask Kathy Day, Bennett Law, or Lisa Campbell. So perhaps,
because
not the correct word.
even previously, if it was an endowment and they were forced to spend it down because of lack of support or lack of funds, again, the purpose of an endowment is to create a corpus of money that can be invested, and the body then lives off, or the income that corpus receives.
Another question is that when we started giving the money, that there was a dip in the fundraising. I mean, we started giving the appropriations and then dip in the fundraising followed. So we feel like they could come up with more than the $3,000 difference.
All right. Okay. So I understand. The other thing is just a question, because I didn't write it down when you mentioned it. What's the total budget?
The town budget?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Jean. The amount to be raised by tax.
Yes.
It's on the front. Oh, your wife's bringing home town report to you, but at $2,796,051.
279,651.
Yeah, 051. Yeah. The other thing is I can answer your process question, and if Dana thinks I'm wrong, he can, as a moderator, can tell me, but you have to make a hard number for the food shelf. And the food shelf themselves is not necessarily opposed to taking the break in their funding because they know they have the money. So that may be something that they're all well and good with. But you will not be able to say an up to, because we need a concrete number to base the budget on to raise taxes by. So it's not a up to Or, you know what I'm saying? Is that,
Oh.
that's what I believe, correct, Dana, or wrong?
I think you're right on that, Therese.
Yeah, because we'd have
Okay.
to come up with a final budget number to approve, so.
Right.
And
Well-
then
well,
I'm under the
I'm glad I
understanding that if
Okay.
we, if we put through the budget and it's 3,500 less for the food shelf, and next August, the food shelf has nothing and people need food, we have the opportunity as a board to do an emergency and make that happen so that people aren't going hungry. Is that correct?
You'd have to cut the budget somewhere. We have
Right.
to find the money within the
So-
existing.
so-
budget, Yeah.
Well, part of my concern about the food shelf is there's a huge unknown with the loss of SNAP and other kinds of funding that people are going to be feeling. That in my opinion is that the demands on the food shelf are going to skyrocket beyond even what they have asked.
Well, you should
I'm
talk to,
concerned, yeah, I'm just concerned about that because of
Yep.
changes in healthcare, changes in SNAP funding,
Mhm.
and other federal reductions in help for those who are least able
Yep.
in our community. And
Yeah,
so I
no,
don't
that-
want them, I don't want them to be lost for a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
That's,
and I know
that's-
that was a concern you had last year. And then when they did lose SNAP benefits, they were completely prepared. But I think before you automatically make a motion to give them their money back, ask Cindy, because they've been crunching numbers and they have their committee that they're working on and stuff with Dana, I think is in that committee to figure out about food and other issues within the town. So, but certainly they
And-
have data for you. And when your wife brings home the town report, you can see their financials in it. So,
well, again, I appreciate that,
yeah,
but it is after they have crunched the numbers that they requested X number of dollars. And so that, yeah, anyway, that's my 2 cents worth.
yeah. Well, same thing as the
25
state
cents.
budget. It's going to the
What,
voters.
and we
And they'll
not having any pennies anymore, so the heck with my 2 cents wasn't even that.
There you
We'll call it 25 cents, Gene.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
So I guess,
We have Dave and Joe.
yep,
I'd like to
okay.
speak.
So I guess we're good online. All right. Thanks. Okay.
I can't not comment.
Mhm.
I actually looked at the food shelf budget again today.
Mm.
Read through their, report to us. They have $90,000 in reserve funds. And in the paragraph directly after it, we feel that 1 year's worth of money keeps us going. And they think their yearly expenditure was around 89. So they're telling me they have enough money for a year right now. Number two, if you're talking about the possibility that people are going to go without because the food shelf's not there, you start taxing people and the programs are underfunded from the feds or whatever, the people that we are going to tax are also going to be affected. We have to tax them harder to feed 245 families. How many families are going to be without that are being taxed? I guess what I really want to say is we have seen these numbers. We have seen this information. We've taken testimony. We were elected by the town. I'd like to think that we've come up with a very responsible budget to serve the town of Bethel. One more comment for Joanne. I listen to you every time you speak because I think you say a lot of very good things. The only thing that I'm concerned about is the town voted that we needed to do this. I have only once seen more than 120 people at a town meeting that has 1,900 voters. So in my personal opinion, I'm not sure the town voted to do that. 120 people or a portion of those did. But we hear people, we hear testimony. Again, I'm going to say, I believe that the five of us, with the help of Therese, have done a very responsible job with our budget.
Yeah.
I'll
And
say no.
I think the numbers are different this year as well. As the last town meeting, we had
Sorry.
different numbers coming in and stuff to look over. Joe?
I'm sorry, I didn't read the second part. You said 5,000. Yeah. Right, so we went to, we used to have the constable and, and he didn't, he had another job, and then we went to the 80, and then, so they're just adding. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But the entities aren't underfunded.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We do. You're right. We do for everybody.
We did make a compromise on that because we started out with a little higher number. So we made a compromise, serious.
But yeah,
Therese,
you're right.
the,
Sorry, Dana.
the audio is, breaking up. We can't,
Oh.
I
Okay.
can't hear the
All
comments.
right, it's probably where the mic is out in front, so we'll have Finn move it. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so Kevin Geiger is here.
Did Joanne
Oh,
want?
did you go to the town office?
Yeah, but I was running a little late.
Oh. Oh, okay, good. I thought about it. I'm like, oh snap, I should have sent him a message. No? Oh, I don't know. Joanne, did you have your hand up?
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you're
I appreciate Dave's comments very much. And I know you guys work hard and you consider all of the different segments. I do appreciate that. I'm speaking my, kind of my feeling about my town. So, but David, I do appreciate all the hard work and all the difficult decisions that you guys have to face. We faced them back when I was on the school board so long ago. So it's with respect for all of you and the job you're doing. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. You want to talk?
Can I say one thing? If you don't mind, I absolutely think that the town is more than roads and sewer lines and water lines and whatever else, right? It's more than the infrastructure. It is the public institutions and those sort of things. But, tax revenue is not charity and it is not generosity. We are literally taking that money from people. And just because we vote that way doesn't make it any different. So I still think there's an opportunity for people to be moved to put their money and their passion and their talent towards these things. And that's what makes a town, not delegating that responsibility to town officials and town offices. It's easy to be conspicuously compassionate when others are forced to bear the cost.
Okay.
So you want to move on,
Moving
Kevin,
forward.
since Kevin, there's people online waiting to see Kevin Geiger. Yes, Dana Kolovec and Jean Kraus are online waiting to see you. So. Yeah, the mics are right here. Yeah. Can you hear Dana? Can you hear Kevin?
Not yet.
Oh, yeah, can you get closer to the mic? Sorry. Yeah, sure, if you don't mind.
Again, my name is Kevin Geiger. I'm the planner for the 2 years planning commission. Your regional.
Not good. Not good sound.
All
Muffled.
right, hang on.
Oh, I can't.
Well, I don't know if he needs to stand closer or, if there needs some adjustment to it.
Finn is making an adjustment.
That's it. That's it. 1, 2, 3.
He needs to stand closer.
Really? I mean, I can see.
Look, you don't need to look at us. Look at the table.
Yeah.
The
Can you
people you're
hear me?
addressing.
Finn, just say Kevin.
That's it. That's it. 1, 2, 3.
Let him
Better.
get rolling. We'll see.
Let him get rolling.
I'm sorry, this part there. So I sent a memo and I sent some draft maps. Hopefully you have those. I have some more copies of the draft maps if anybody needs those. If folks online wanted to see those maps, they would go to the main Two Rivers page, which is trorc.org. Click on the left, there's a big box about the draft regional plan. And in that text, you can click on the draft regional future land use map and then zoom around and look, and you would come up with the areas that we're going to talk about. There are three things at play, and I'm here to talk about one of them, but they're kind of interrelated, so I'm going to go over them, hopefully at the expense of not creating more confusion. So there's a future land use map. The thing before you is the future land use map. The areas that we're talking about on the future land use map are the dark purple and the pink, which are village center and village area. And for the village, there's the village center and then there's village area on both sides. And for East Bethel, it's just village center. I don't think there is no village area. That is the future land use map, or at least the draft future land use map that we have out there. Something that's related to that. So to me, the bounds of these areas are important for you to consider. Is the village center, the dark purple, will become state designated village centers as well. The state has something they call village center for state designation processes. And that's really a tax credit program, which you may be familiar with.
We already are a designated village.
You already are, right?
Yeah.
And so that bound will become this bound.
Okay.
That's one of the things that the legislature did. Whenever this thing gets approved, our regional plan now has to be approved by folks, which is new. And so that'll go to something called the Land Use Review Board in the late fall. And then they'll have a tussle about that. Hopefully not too much. So that's the future land use map and the designation and now the tier 1B part. So tier 1B right now, there is a big bubble around Bethel Village because there's an interim Act 250 exemption in place right now.
Yep.
Around the village. And so somebody could come and put, and so you got the bubble.
Yeah, it's all in their packet. Yep.
Yep. And so inside that area, there is no Act 250 for housing projects of 50 units or less on lots of 10 acres. I don't think you've had any applications using that exemption. So that's an indication of what might happen if you're tier 1B. I don't think there's going to be a lot of uptick, but maybe there could be something, especially maybe on the mid-size range. That is really the only effect of tier 1B is the exemption under Act 250 for those particular housing projects, basically in your town between 10 and 50 on lots of 10 acres or less. And it's housing, it's not any particular kind of housing. It's just wide open right now on housing. The same exemption also actually is in effect right now on any commercial project, commercial building that has an Act 250 permit. They could put in 28 units of housing or less and not have an Act 250. That's on as well. So before you, the matter would be, and again, I'm not necessarily expecting decision tonight, but we want one soon. But we knew you were tied up with getting with the town meeting before. Now, we need to have a request from the select board. We can't create a tier 1B by ourselves. The town has, and the select board particularly has to give us that request. So we would give you a form to actually sign saying yes. The other thing is, what are you requesting? Well, it could be any of those areas in combination. Could be, we only want East Bethel. We only want the village area. you only want the village center. Any combination. You just can't kind of say, well, we only want the village center, but only half of the village center.
Right.
There, it's the cookie cutter is the way it goes. However, these are draft maps. And so one of the things you might say is, well, we do want the village center, but gosh, we wish, had one extra parcel up here or something. And if it wasn't for that, we'd be for it, but guy here gave us this map and we don't like the map. No, so feel free to go, oh, well, actually, we want a little change here and we would support it or that type of. We'd love that really in February and especially by the end of the month. Because then we're solidifying the entire regional plan for our board and stuff. It's going to make its way through hearings and stuff all through the summer, and really we're looking at October adoption. So there's a lot of process between them. Just so you know. So that's really the long and short of it, the effect of it under Act 250. Your zoning stays in exact place. This does not override your zoning in any way, shape, or form. Your subdivision stays there. So, and you'll need a sewer and water permit and all those type of things out there. All of those pieces have to line up to make a cycle go. This is just one piece of that.
I did speak with Rick Benson, who's the chair of the DRB, and like me, I'm in favor of it as zoning administrator, and he is also in favor of it. Makes total sense to do all the areas outlined.
Okay.
Not just one or two, but to do it all.
Yep.
And makes it beneficial for people that, we need housing. So, and it's not just low income housing, it's any housing.
Any kind of.
So that makes for a good thing. But if, one thing that I can do, is sit down with someone maybe from Two Rivers to see if I can go through the property boundaries as far as, does it line up with our current tax map? Or are you gonna have like partial properties in and partial properties out?
In general, if you zoom in, the parcel boundaries are on the map. In general, we've tried to use a parcel boundary as a boundary.
Yeah.
Sometimes we cut across a piece here or there. But in general, we've tried to use it because we feel that most people know or think they know at least where the parcel boundaries are.
Yep.
That if you're live on the map on the website, this is actually tied to that. So if you click on a parcel, it'll bring up the parcel information that's in the state parcel database.
Okay.
That said, it's the state parcel database. Sometimes there's an error. And it's as good.
It's good data that's in there. That makes sense.
The other thing that you should note is there's a big black hatched area.
Yeah.
That is the floodplain and the river corridor.
And all those rules stay in the spec.
And all those rules stand.
Yeah.
And right now the state says that we should exclude that area.
Huh.
Except where we can include it using something called the infill procedure under the river corridor rule. That is on a case-by-case basis. And we're kind of stuck in this quandary of like, well, we can't exclude it and then include it on a case-by-case basis in the future because the plan will just be locked.
Right.
So our proposal and the way we're handling it is to put it in, but we have a policy that has the same effect we feel that says, oh, by the way, in that black hatched area, you can't build anything if you triggered Act 250 in the regional plan. Unless
it allows it in the zoning regulation.
Right, that always, but also if the infill procedure applies. And just to give you an example, the infill procedure, if any of you have got a letter of map amendment under flood regulations, it's the same type of thing. The map doesn't change, but you essentially move the bound.
Okay.
The infill procedure is the same thing for river corridors where the river is going to move over. But where there's existing buildings, you essentially connect those dots.
Okay.
And so that would happen on a case-by-case basis. Our proposal is leave it in there. And we'll see what happens on a case by case basis instead of taking it out and then somehow magically trying to put it in at the time. We just don't see how that would work.
Yeah, I don't either, especially dealing with the state. So I guess you have a couple options, Jordan, is I mean, I'm certainly in favor of it, but what I can do, which I did not do, is I can go through and look parcel by parcel around the edge to see if we're missing anything that should be included. And then you could issue your final, recommendation, or if you send me the form, they could sign the form on the 23rd. But that way I can go parcel by parcel just to see if there is something like, if we're aware of like a big parcel that could definitely hold 50 houses or something. So I think there might be somebody online who has a question for you. Does anyone online have a question for, okay, both Dana and Jean? Okay,
Go ahead, Gene.
take turns. Be brief.
My question, Kevin, has to do with that part of the map that is now labeled forestry and agriculture.
Yes.
And what that change is, just so the select board is aware that there is another change that will have to be taken, that our planning commission in Bethel will have to take into account.
Okay, unrelated to tier 1B.
Right.
Yes, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with the regional plan. The kind of turquoise-ish area
Yeah,
is called, right now in the regional plan, we have two rural areas. We have a rural general and a rural forest-based resource area.
okay,
Due to statute, we have to have three areas: rural general, rural ag and forestry, and rural conservation. Most of the kind of land in between those two has become this rural ag and forestry.
so is that gonna just remain in our zoning regulations? If it's 20-acre resource conservation, it's not gonna affect our
It has
local zoning?
No direct effect on your zoning regulations.
Oh, okay,
It's the only thing is the interplay between that and Act 250. If a project goes on in 50, it could have.
okay, gotcha.
Rural general is just the kind of tannish on there, and it's really most of the lands along most of the roads is rural general. The idea is that continues to have a bunch of scattered residential development.
And Dana?
Yeah, Kevin, I want to thank you for giving us this brief introduction to it. I just want to note that when Act 250 was initially enacted back in 71, it was expected that there would be a state land use plan coming
Yes.
out.
Yes.
And this seems to finally be, 50 years later, the plan that was envisioned, at least the first steps towards the implementation of a plan that would have allowed Act 250 to be more targeted in terms of where it applied and where it didn't. So congratulations to the state for finally getting its act sufficiently together to come forward with this plan. And I think, it's much needed, overdue. The second thing I'd ask the board, does it want a recommendation from the planning commission relative to to support your the letter that you're going to submit to the Two Rivers in support of 1B, because we have a meeting coming up on the 26th, I think.
Yeah, so we
but
meet on
it's
the 23rd, right? Is that our next meeting is the 23rd? Yeah, I mean,
I think the only thing in question is to add a little bit more.
yeah, I just want to look at the boundaries of the parcels to see if
Okay.
basically compare with the tax map. I mean,
But
I can't imagine you guys are not in favor of it.
you can't imagine that we're not in favor of it? Yes, that's
Right.
good. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we haven't had a meeting on it, so I think it would be appropriate for
Right,
us that,
it didn't go to you guys. It came directly here.
right.
So,
Right.
I don't know. Can we think about it? Can I talk to you
I'm
about
fine
it
with that.
tomorrow?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. And I would ask Kevin if does he have any hard copies of the map? He could
I
leave
do,
with you.
I'll leave. it.
Yeah, I'll take them.
Sweet.
They're in the packet too. If you go online and look at the select board packet, they're
Yeah.
also, I'm bringing them with me.
Okay, and I'll stop by in the morning
Sure.
and appreciate it. Great. That's it.
Okay.
Can we get some all set?
So I
Thank you very
think
much.
what we'll do is just move it to the next agenda and then I'll look at all the parcel boundaries just to make sure
Yep.
that, if I hadn't done that and I should have, but obviously we're seemingly in favor.
As you zoom in.
Yeah.
More layers sometimes will appear.
Yeah. Yeah, I was on it to kind of look at it to get a feel for it. So that's great. And if you could forward me the form, then I
Yeah.
could definitely put that in the packet for the 23rd.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Nice to see you in person.
Yeah. And now Cecil Washburn on moving the road at Limpus Cemetery.
Yes, they're in the packet.
I believe we all have.
I also talked to AJ too, so I have a idea.
Question is, what does the selectmen want to move? You want to move the cemetery or the road?
That's an easy answer. The question I have though is how much road, where do you want to move? Are you suggesting?
Well, if you want to make the cemetery safe, so that these bigger snow plows don't tear it all up, you're going to have to move it at least 10 feet to the right.
More than 10 feet, huh? Okay, I understand. I mean, Yeah.
Because they weren't, this winter, they plowed within 1.5 to 2 foot of the flagpole, which is 3 to 4 feet inside the cemetery.
yeah, it shows is that a plow or cleanup that I'm seeing in the second picture?
It's probably the plow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that
So-
fence come down?
There's the fence is around a stone, correct?
It used to be.
Used to be,
No,
yeah.
okay.
So,
I don't know, and hopefully you could tell me, what is a legal process to move a road?
well, first of all, I think that, as I suggested, that you kick it to AJ and I to go out with Cecil. And I talked to AJ today and I said, listen, we need to take stakes and survey tape and where we need to locate, because some of it is that road looks huge right now because we've gone so far into the cemetery. So what we need to do is go up and look at the road, measure the road. And then what our thought is, I talked to AJ about it today, is driving some stakes with some tape to figure out exactly how far we need to come out and then leave it so that residents can realize the fact that that is the width of the road. There is some road on the other side that we think we could put some material and gain some width there.
Yeah.
But- Well, we gotta come up with width
Listen.
somewhere.
Listen, when you got these great big plows with wings that stick out 8 feet from a truck,
True.
and I don't blame the road crew. The road needs to be moved over so that they have the room.
Yep.
And don't have to cross.
Yeah, we don't disagree. We're just,
And I'm not sure what they've hit 2-3 stones this year.
ugh,
Won't know till spring now because everything's buried, the fence. And I
yeah,
know there's a stone right in the line of the fence.
I know. Yeah, I saw the pictures from last
I
year.
would be in favor of allowing Teresa and AJ to figure this out. My question was,
Yeah,
is there anything that we have to decide that it's okay to do this?
we might. It depends on, once we get out there and look at the road and, find obviously the original and find the boundary of the road, there is a statutory process if we need to actually move the road. But because it's what happened there is what's happened everywhere, right? We just keep making these roads wider and wider because plows and trucks are getting bigger. So once we actually try to figure out where the center line is and figure out where the road actually is, we'll be able to know. But there may be, yes,
The
there,
road's a 3-rod road. 48
and
48.5 feet long.
it's a 3-rod road if it was laid out as a 3-rod road. So that's the thing I can take a look at and see if, because
But if
that's
it's 48
whittier,
feet
right?
Wide, it's just a matter of, did we
Yep.
encroach or forget or whatever? Can we just,
That road, the dirt road, years ago, used to be at least 6 feet from that fence.
Oh.
And now it's in.
Yeah. So I,
So should we just have you and AJ go look at it and bring us
So,
a couple of options and the cost breakdown
Yeah.
of what we're looking at to do this?
yeah,
Well, the problem
Be
is the
lovely.
corner coming into the cemetery on the Whittier Road. You naturally swing right over to the cemetery.
yeah. We may, yeah.
What is your, are you able to do that during the winter or?
No, we'll have to wait till the,
Well, no, but you ought to look at it now.
yeah, I
When
will,
the snow and everything is there.
yes. I will go up and look at it now, but no, it'll have to be in the spring, and then we want to do it with Cecil, because then he has the historic knowledge, and then we can step back and figure it out, and then we'll come to the select board with a plan that Cecil agrees to. And, that way we can just figure out what we got,
You
because,
gotta do something.
yes,
We agree.
we
That's-
agree,
That's an old cemetery.
it is, and
And
he's
there's no
done,
sense, no sense of building a new fence and having it.
right? We'll have to put up a whole bunch of bollards on.
We talked about that, and I think you'd be cited as
Maybe a little bit too early.
liability.
Yeah, it could be a lawsuit waiting to
We
happen.
could, I don't know, maybe they'd allow white granite.
Maybe. But if the select board's willing to let us go out and come up with a plan and stuff, then
I would say
together,
bring us more information at this point.
But let me know when you wanna go.
you bet.
I'll be there.
I know. All right. Thank you very much, Cecil.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Yeah, you as
Drive
well.
safe.
Gotta do something.
Yes, we agree.
Now the Wesco Inc. Champlain Farms annual request for approval of their 2 tobacco substitute licenses. Tobacco license and second class liquor license.
This is nothing new,
No, it's their annual.
so I would move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now into the authorization to spend up to $116,500 from the capital improvement fund to build a new salt shed with the edit of possibly adding 100,000 for the full barn.
Yes, because we did budget and that obviously I budgeted $200,000 for a salt shed. But if we could get a pole barn and a salt shed for about $200,000, then we should do that, because then we can have it done before the garage is built. And then obviously the salt shed, the back of it has blown out, there's an accident, we have salt out there on the ground and not a good situation for any. Exactly. And so we did decide that, or I talked to AJ today and said, definitely, we'll make sure that in the RFP that, I'm not sure the proper wording, Jordan will correct me, but key in the wall to the foundation, was that the term?
Be involved.
We're gonna pull it together.
And then also the back of the, I think it's in somewhere I read where you wanna put some, I don't know what they call them, but extra pieces of concrete to support that back wall,
Yep,
so if they can't push it out.
right, exactly, yeah.
What do you, I don't know what you call
And
it,
that's
they
just-
stick out 3 feet or whatever, and they,
And that was just broad.
no, put on concrete walls.
No, I know, I'm saying in front of it.
No, it's part of the wall.
Yeah,
It's a vertical support, would be 2 to hold that wall. That you're not depending on the wall
On the
itself,
backside.
you're putting some more support behind.
yeah. So it was, obviously the building is in rough shape and, somebody, it was an accident. Accidents happen. And, but anyway, so that's the idea here, is if we can do that, then we can have, even with a new garage, we're still gonna have equipment that's outside. So it helps us to balance exactly what we're gonna need for the new town. site.
Yes.
So if we can have the pole barn,
Outward
which
returns.
covers some of the stuff, and then the salt shed, salt in it, it feels like it's a good balance for the money.
So the full bar is also town garage.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep.
this isn't the one we're talking about.
No, not yet. I would,
Is the full barn a temporary structure that is
No.
replaced by the new garage?
it's gonna be a permanent structure in addition to the,
Okay.
because right now they just have equipment outside.
Yep.
And so the salt shed, that needs to be replaced. And with that, we will lose a couple, because the existing salt shed has a little bay where they have like signage and some other storage. So when that goes away and we put the salt shed there, we're thinking about putting we were just discussing it, because we have to get a zoning permit. So I was talking to AJ today about it, and so to put the pole barn, we're thinking out along the fence near the tower. So which will decide the location obviously before we file the zoning permit. So we're looking for, if we can get 2 buildings for the price of, you know, basically the one, then why wouldn't we do it
For the budget.
for the budget one? Yeah. Budget of- So anyways, that's what.
Same
we're like.
vendor would be like the same.
No, different people, obviously, we'll have to do an RFP, so we don't know who's gonna get it, we have contractors that give us estimates that we do not release to the public because they still are gonna bid, so we know what our cost is, or what we believe we're gonna get for it, and then we'll go from there, so there'll be RFP issued for the pole barn, and there'll be an RFP issued for the salt shed.
Well,
No, it hasn't
And this
affected,
is out of the 330.
yes,
I was all excited because you were way, it looked like we were gonna be way under budget. And now
We
you're
were.
talking, now it sounds like you might be over budget.
well, now I'm looking at 2 buildings instead of 1, but I hope, because originally we were looking at what we call trash blocks, but they weren't interlocking. And that was a lot cheaper because we could have purchased them locally. But interlocking blocks we can only get from Williston, and so
So if you've given up, you're leaning towards the poured
Port,
wall.
yes, we were trying to save money. And we would have used the block, but once we got the price and the delivery and all those other charges, the difference between the poured concrete and the block is really not a big difference as you can
Right.
see. So I know that Dave and Jordan certainly wanted poured concrete.
For $5,000. Right.
So, no, and as far as your question about the fire department, that's something that I'm hoping to piggyback with the bond for the town project. But I still have to come to an agreement with them exactly what they're.
Is this something that we want to separate into 2 different buildings and approvals? And look at?
Yeah, you can, I don't care how you do it. We can make 2 different motions. I don't have a problem with that.
I don't care if it's on the same bill, it'd be great if we keep it to 200,000, so we're not, I don't know what you were thinking.
Once you
Well,
try.
no,
to-
so I think what I'm asking for is 216,500, because I put a 5,000, I put a contingency in there, but my estimate on 100,000 is high because that was for 4 sides and we only need 3. So do I think I can get? I'm nothing but inherently cheap. So my goal was
If
$200,000.
you're telling me that's your budget,
Well, it is our budget, but nobody's gonna, we won't put that out there.
You're gonna run into unforeseen circumstances.
Right, so I need to know.
wait, tell me the budget 190.
So I'm thinking that, so if we can make the budget up to 216,500 for a salt shed and a pole barn, then, obviously I'm gonna come in.
I have a question.
Yeah, capital improvement fund.
Capital.
30,000.
I have a question about the pole barn.
Yeah.
What's the floor gonna be?
It's going to be,
Crushed stone?
hard pack.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I
Not gonna
asked,
pour another concrete floor.
no, I'm not, no,
Okay.
we're not pouring a concrete floor. No, I asked AJ today. The only reason I'm out here, I have to ask you for just capital, otherwise I'm gonna build one.
Yeah, no. I mean, it makes sense because, obviously there's gonna be a period of construction when the.
I'd imagine the pole barn is gonna be closer to.
Yeah,
It's
I'm hoping, I'm having a buffer in here. I'm saying,
should.
I will do, obviously, I want to do
Well,
less than
yeah.
200,000.
Yeah.
I have other things I need that money.
Exactly, right?
I gotta remove a underground fuel tank at the town office, I other things to do, there's some minor.
Ken
repairs.
wants to replace the whole town office. so.
She's, in about 15 years. And I also need to, add some maintenance to do a fire station.
Do we have a motion?
I would move this article. This up to 216,500 to build a salt shed and a pole barn. I don't know if you have to have the sizes in there or not, but you're writing it down.
No, I'm sure, all right, I can put the size in there, but,
That's fine.
okay,
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
thank you very much.
Adoption of updated town road and bridge standards by V-Trans and A&R, last updated June 2nd, 2019.
Yeah, they've been voting through the same ones. I was surprised to see them come through. So Yep, so they were in your packet. Obviously, it's, obviously this is where we spend quite a bit of money on, is keeping stuff up to MRTP standards to go with our permits. That's why a lot of the grant money that we get goes towards these hydrologically connected segments and things like that. So I think I gave you the information. I don't know if you have any questions.
I didn't get a chance to read through this, because I'm perfectly honest, I was hoping that we could,
Okay,
maybe put out a reading it.
sure. Okay.
It's my personal request, but obviously people want to move and
It's nothing that has
Yeah.
to be adopted today. So if you want to move it to the 23rd, we can do that.
it's the only thing I just didn't get.
Does everybody want to move it to the 23rd?
I don't care, because a lot of it, I have to rely on someone else to understand it for me.
Then we're gonna have to also move the town road bridge standard. So we can move everything. They don't actually have to be done after town meeting. So we can certainly move these.
Just do it.
Don't put it on the 9th, then, because we're gonna.
No,
we're
I'm gonna move it to the 23rd.
Okay.
You'll be gone,
Or
but,
2 weeks, so.
but yeah, standard. And it's one of those things where you're given the information and you really don't have a choice. You have to adopt it if you're going to get any sort of money. So
Right.
it's one of those things.
Makes you
they-
feel
When it's in, when I'm signing a certificate of compliance and said I've read it, I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I read it first.
You are fine.
So we're gonna table the adoption of the updated town road and bridge standards and the annual adoption of certification for compliance for the town road
Yeah,
till the 23rd.
Right.
sounds good.
Now we're looking at the updated purchasing policy for the town.
And this is full new. This is not an amendment. This is a revised full new thing.
They look good to me. This I read. And this
You got that one?
looks boilerplate to me.
Says that, but
Well, it's a good thing it's a good thing you said it's a whole new rewrite, because I was good with the other one if we were just gonna have to renew it. So I did read it.
there you go.
I like it.
I'm good with it.
Looks like
It seems to be
it is what
very,
it needs to be. Yeah. People have to buy stuff.
I'll move to approve the purchasing policy. The procurement policy, at the same time.
Mhm.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
All right, so you just have to sign on that page, please.
Now on to the town manager's report.
We should like to go first since you're right back in.
you have one of these supposed to sign today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming around.
So, okay, so I wanted to explain this to you. Tim Dugan, he's the director of Vermont Retirement Systems, is proposing a legislative change because a while ago Randolph reached out to us because, as you know, Randolph has a police department now. And they were trying to move them because Bethel, Randolph, and Danville are the only 3 towns left that are on Vermont state retirement instead of Vermont municipal retirement. So it takes the legislative change to get out of that. So what Randolph wants to do is move their police officers into a different plan that's a 20-year retirement period instead of a 30. So when Trevor from Randolph brought it up, I said, I'm in favor and Danville's in favor, but we want you to do it for us too. So that if down the road, heaven forbid, Bethel ever had a police department, you wouldn't have to go through, you know, we'd be legislatively in. So we gave Mark 2 cents, Danville and I signed off, and so he has made that recommendation to the legislature. I reached out to Kirk White and said, this is what the change is, if you can follow this, Bethel wants this, we are in favor of it. So if we ever had a police department, they could move to that shorter, you know. I don't think it's in the budget or the cards, but still, but who knows, right? I mean, hey, who knows? It could be something different, but I just want to make sure that we have the opportunity to do
Mine
that.
will be covered.
So we're there. We've talked a little bit about, I think, the CHIP, the Community Housing Infrastructure Program. So there's a training on the 19th that I'm going to attend. Tax sale is moving forward, but Pam just scheduled a tax abatement. One of the properties requested one, but they sent it to her old email address, so we just got it. The attorney handling that for that company was very kind, and we're going to, she's going to be doing that. So you as BCA members will be getting that information.
19th.
The 19th, yep,
So you'll have the meeting.
at 6 o'clock. And so you will obviously hear testimony and go from there, but the tax bill still won't move it forward. We had an accidental wastewater discharge of 209,000 gallons of partially treated effluent. Richard believed was caused by some sort of toxic substance being released into the system. I gave you the report in your packet that came from the state. This is a big deal. Obviously, Richard worked diligently, had people coming in from Vermont Rural Water, microscope time to figure out what happened. But because we're a small system, if somebody, dumped a bunch of, drugs or like a mass like bleach or something that they probably should have disposed of elsewhere and it got in there, the cold weather already changes the effluent by how much oxygen is in there. So once something is introduced into the system, it's, for Richard, he had been talking to me about it, how he's been trying to balance it. And then all of a sudden what we were supposed to have were permitted for like 77. It was like 2,000. So, but he did exactly what he's supposed to do, called the state, reported it, and we did everything. And he had it turned around within just a couple of days. So really appreciate all this work. So it's not over. What happens now is the permitting people have it, but it goes to enforcement. So we may see an enforcement officer down here and we'll see what happens. But if you spend any time on that website, there are repeat offenders of massive amounts of affluent. So the fact that we had one, I remember when Tim was still alive, we had one, and then after the flood, we had a little bit of one. We'll see, but fingers crossed if you don't see anything, fine about it. But anyways, if you see Richard, he did a great job. Good news, beginning of February, when we've already started, we have the ability now for people to pay their utility bills and tax payments online. They can come in the office and do it with a debit or credit card, or they can do it right on our website. The cost to the town is nothing. We paid $300, I think, maybe for the little charging machine or the little machine card reader. But for people to use it online, it's going to be a 2.65% of the charge or a $3 minimum. But if they use an e-check, it's only going to be $1.50. So, but we have had some people paying their taxes on it. And one lady had like an $80 convenience fee, then pays her. She was like, I'm going to earn points. I'm like,
$80 is the point.
you do you.
78.
So, that's right. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it becomes something that people are really happy to use, especially when they're out of state. And I don't know, we'll see. I'll be interested to see how many tax payments we get that way, but I definitely would have an increase in sewer payments. So, and obviously town report is out. We don't mail them anymore, but you got your postcard. As soon as we get the PDF from Spalding Press, it'll be on the website. But if you want them there at our office, then we usually end up bringing some to the library at some point, but I'm not sure that's happened yet. So that's it for me.
All right. Now, the select board minutes from 1/26/2026.
I saw something strange in there, and it was
Oh, good. I wrote
the motion to authorize the loan application for 50,000. Deb moved. Who's Deb?
Imagine Jed.
I don't know.
I wanted to say Jed, but I don't think Jed moved.
I keep my hand scratching on. Oh, but I don't know.
That was the only thing I saw, though.
That's funny, but thank you. I will.
And I did not see that.
Deb moved. I read.
I don't think you moved, right? I don't think it was you.
I don't know who it was, but I keep all my notes, so I'll go back and, but thank you. I will correct that. As-
Correct.
as
that, bring it
edited.
to the next meeting.
No, you just.
We can
accept
We
the
motion to
edit
accept.
As amended.
I move to accept the minutes as amended. I thought I was very careful reading that too. I missed that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Other communications? Take a look at it.
Fire Advisory Board, Bethel Planning Commission, oh, this was the Vermont official state website, this was the release. And apologize. I don't know how come I didn't give you December financials. I thought I had, they went through my packet and realized I hadn't. So there's a twofer in here, December and January. Numbers still looking good. Obviously, we're in a salt shortage, so we're not spending a ton of money on salt right now. We're trying, but we're not. AJ is looking into using chloride. I know they did it on the sidewalks and stuff, but we paid $200 to get the winter sprayer, so but he put in an order the other day and the guy said, do you think March maybe? Yeah, so.
I thought I saw on the news where the state was backing off how much they're using so that we could have some.
Well, what they did was they told Barrett's to hold off on delivering, and then anybody who had zero amount of salt, they were to deliver to them first, like 20, I can't remember exactly how much, I want to say 2,500 something, but they were to be delivered to first. But AJ smart, he actually did a private contract, and we ended up we got some salt through someone else. It cost us retail price, but the gentleman said when he was down there was like 30 Barrett trucks in line. And so we ended up getting some from Barrett, but we also got some from the hauler. But I don't know, we've heard rumor that somebody somewhere goofed up and didn't order enough railroad cars, but it's not coming in at White River. They had to go to Portsmouth to get it.
Yeah, that's a
So,
big pot.
yeah, so, we're doing what we can, and people are getting, they're pre-treating, so there's also like a sand salt mix, so we're doing everything we can and, to keep people safe.
What did we do in 1907? We got by.
Yeah,
Learn to drive,
well, and that's.
put snow tires on, all those things.
There you go, amen, amen. So,
Anything else?
but yeah, so if anybody has any questions, now or later on the financials, let me know, but right now, everything is looking good. Obviously, I will say Public Works overtime is obviously higher right now than where it would normally be, but it is the nature of the beast. It'll be last year, I think we overspent a little bit, but underspent something else. And, it may happen again this year, but, so far, the weather. But overall, the budgets look good and everybody's, within the realm of where they're supposed to be.
Maybe we won't move fault,
Get a
Any
stick.
other business?
Paul, did you have anything? Oh, okay.
All set?
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Oh, it's on the calendar, the town calendar. Yeah, we're not right, so I don't know what that is. Had to make that big trek across the bridge. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Move to adjourn.
Really, okay, second. Oh, Jake can have that one, Deb can have that one.
Okay, Deb.
Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.